While we're getting the presentation set up, I will put in a plug for reauthorization, which does expire September 30th, and had to have an extension last year. So if you feel like contacting your congressman to encourage them to pass the bill before September 30th, we would all greatly appreciate that, because we really don't want another year extension. That being said, how do I advance this? Okay. Farm to School, I'm going to talk about some of the challenges and opportunities that we have in the district, a lot of which has been touched on by the previous sponsors, so we'll go into a little more depth as to how that actually impacts the school district. Who we are, what we are. The child nutrition programs in the school district are self-funded, so we are a restaurant unto the students and staff in the district. So our funding is separate from the general fund, so we fund ourselves. Labor, we have about 105 employees, give or take. That includes our production staff, our elementary serving staff, our drivers, our warehousemen, the central office staff for food service. Salaries, we talked a lot about what we have to cover expense-wise. Our salaries range from anywhere from $10.85 an hour to $13.60 an hour. And then on top of that, benefits are another 30% on top of that. Facilities, Heather already talked about the district number of buildings we have. We also serve the youth emergency shelter and about 5 off-site small programs for, again, a total of about 6,400 lunches a day and about 1,200 breakfasts. We have, however, 5 kitchens in the district to serve the district. And the district, for those of you who may not know, it's Iowa City, Coralville, Hills, and North Liberty, so quite a large geographic area. So in addition to that, we only have 3 kitchens that prepare for the whole district. And those facilities prepare anywhere from about 1,600 lunches today at West High to about 2,500 lunches at Northwest Junior High School. Because we are so geographically diverse, we actually have drivers who are on the road by 9:30 in the morning delivering lunches to kids. All 6 of our drivers are on the road by 10 o'clock in the morning. So production time for us is about 2.5 to 3 hours. We have some wonderful bakers. They love baking from scratch, but our production facilities are somewhat limited, so our bakers usually, when we have a baked item on the menu, say a homemade roll, it usually takes them 2 days to get 1 day's worth of production completed. USDA meal patterns, that is one thing. A year ago, the Institute of Medicine came out with some new guidance to hopefully update the USDA meal pattern. Contrary to popular belief, we do have a pattern that we have to follow that talks about sodium, fat, calories, calcium, protein, iron, vitamin A, vitamin C. So when we do meal planning, we are looking at all those nutrients to make sure that our meals provide 1/3 of a child's daily need for those nutrients. But as I said, hopefully with the reauthorization, which we would like passed, we will see some revisions in the meal patterns, which a lot of that focus is part of the Healthier U.S. School Challenge, focusing on more fresh fruits and vegetables, more whole grains, lower sodium, low-fat milks, those kinds of things. The other thing that we follow is some guidance that was instituted in the district's wellness policy back in 2006, and I know there's one person in the room who remembers the menu days of, if it was on the lunch menu, we put it on your lunch tray. We've moved way beyond that to now we have 2 choices of entrees for the elementary kids, 4 choices of fruits and vegetables every day. We're trying to meet some of the U.S. Healthier School Challenge guidelines, which is, again, the whole grains, the legumes. You know, Heather mentioned the hummus that we've done. Another project that was involved with the kids who had summer feeding was the, I'm not going to say it well, Yasser Watt? Okay, okay, Elizabeth can say, which was a red lentil dish that we all loved. A little challenging to make, but so we've done some things like that. But there, as I said, they're between USDA, Healthier U.S. Schools Challenge, and the wellness policy, and just logistics of our facilities, we have lots of challenges. Competitive bids was mentioned. I spent a lot of time this summer out of the office, unfortunately, but attending workshops and training. Went to a several-day procurement workshop. Oops, hello? I don't see it anymore. I don't. Okay.
Go back. Go back to the screen. That's good.
Okay. Okay. So one of the trainings I went to was on competitive procurement, and it was mentioned about competitive bids. We need to secure 3 competitive bids when we're doing purchasing. So that can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. Vendor qualifications for our district. We talked about, Kami talked about ordering. In the good old days, many years ago, I used to contact about 5 or 6 different vendors every week. We did produce prices, we did bidding every week. Now we have a prime vendor. It's a renewable bid that I bid about every 4 years. And we get the bulk of our products through the prime vendor. Deliveries, we have some challenges with storage space in our kitchens, so we have a central warehouse facility where we get our groceries, frozen food, produce deliveries. That comes to us twice a week, and then it's delivered out to the kitchens. Food safety, several years ago, along with the Farm Bill reauthorization, which instituted the district wellness policies, was also a less advertised, but probably more important guidance for schools was to develop food safety policy and program. It's called HACCP, Hazardous Analysis of Critical Control Points. So we have those kinds of guidances. The other workshop I attended this year was out in Fredericksburg, Virginia, where we spent 3.5 days talking about produce and all of the food safety and handling guidances that go along with food safety for produce, purchasing, temperatures, handling, washing, rinsing, the whole shebang with that. Where are we now? Okay. Product specifications, again, at the procurement workshop, everything you bid has to have a specification. I just can't say, I would like your apples. The apples we typically buy that we've had discussions with our vendors is I buy a 113 apple, which means I buy a case of apples, and I assume that there will be 113 apples, all essentially of the same shape and size in that case of apples. So everything we purchase has a specification. So if I go, I would like cucumbers. One of the gals, Diana Weber out of Nevada, did a project a few years ago with the Leopold Center, and they were buying cucumbers. Well, in the world of food service, you get a dozen cucumbers, and they all look like this. When she was working with her local growers, she got cucumbers, she got big cucumbers, little cucumbers, pickling cucumbers, and so there has to be communication between what the district needs and uses for the growers. Also, because of that, back in the good old days, and we still have the equipment, we used to make our own carrot sticks, celery sticks, buy head lettuce, wash, chop, et cetera, with the change in our menus and the demands for our production staff. Most of that type of vegetable produce that we purchase comes in ready to go. So it's cauliflower florets, it's chopped cabbage for coleslaw, it's shredded lettuce, it's florets, those kinds of things. And the other thing with buying produce is what grade, what quality. It was amazing to listen to the USDA inspectors about produce. It's like more than anybody could ever imagine these folks know. But tons of information about how to buy produce, how to buy quality, clearly those kinds of things.